Hello everyone, this is Maxwell, and this is a video that is a deep dive on Darkstalker's legends, its stories, themes, and the different perspectives, the impact of those perspectives. Major spoiler warning coming up, so if you don't wish to be spoiled for this wonderful book, then I suggest you click off now. So, let's get into it, shall we? For anyone who hasn't read Darkstalker Legends, I'll give a summary of the novel. Darkstalker Legends takes place around 1,000 years before the main series, in the continent of Pyria. There are 7 kingdoms: the Nightwing Kingdom, the Ice Kingdom, the Rainforest Kingdom, the Sky Kingdom, the Kingdom of the Sand, and one of the Seas, along with the Bloodwing Kingdom, with a species of dragon to live in each one. This book follows 3 different characters, 2 of which have an ability called Amos Magic. This is a power passed on from parent to child, that allows the user to control any object or person, being able to make items such as a crystal that allows the user to enter the dreams of anyone who is sleeping. However, it is said that every time this power is used, it corrupts the user's soul. I don't necessarily believe that, but I'll touch on that soon. Now, onto our 3 main POVs. Our main character and lead antagonist of the second series of Wings of Fire, the main series, Darkstalker. Half Nightwing, half Icewing, who was born with insane abilities. He can read minds, see a few different futures, and has an ability called Amos Magic. Darkstalker is an ambitious dragon who wants to take rule of the Nightwing Kingdom and lead the Nightwings to a beautiful future. But he is willing to do anything to achieve that. He fully believes the ends justify the means. Our second character, but just as important, is the Nightwing named Clearsight. She has the power to see the future, but not just one future, but every future. She can see every possible timeline. She obsesses over these futures, because the lives of everyone she could love depends on what timeline the world follows. Clearsight is practically destined to meet and fall in love with Darkstalker as well. She's anxious, but not shy, and she's determined to save everyone she loves, including Darkstalker. Our third main character, in our non-Nightwing POV, is Fathom. Another Amos. He was born assuming he was normal, until the Amos trials came around within the Seawind Kingdom, and he discovered his new power. Things took a turn for the worst after his grandfather Albatross, the only other Amos in the Seawind Kingdom, goes insane and starts killing anyone he can find. Fathom has to use his powers to take him out before he can kill anyone else, but out of guilt for also having the exact same powers, he gives the credit to someone he loves, Indigo. Afterwards, he goes to live far away from everyone, scared of his own power. When Darkstalker's abilities are revealed to the public, he goes to the Nightwing Kingdom in an attempt to teach him to avoid using his abilities. He's scared, but he hopes that maybe not only can he help teach Darkstalker, but also make new friends, and also learn to enjoy and love life. Along with these, there is a wide supporting cast. From Darkstalker's father, another Amos uses powers to escape the Ice Kingdom. He used to be a prince of the kingdom. However, he fell in love with Darkstalker's mother, Foeslayer, and ran off. What he had to do left him bitter and hurt on the inside. Indigo, Fathom's love interest, who he believes he can't actually be with, due to believing his powers are a curse, and if you ever have children, there's a chance they would pass on to those kids. Indigo is also his bodyguard, and is hailed within the Seawind Kingdom as the Slayer of Amoses. There's Listener, a friend of Clearsight who allows her to feel more grounded and living in the moment. They do simple things together, and it helps Clearsight live for something and realize that life isn't all bad and the futures aren't all bad. Now, onto the main part of this video, the analysis. Darkstalker's Legends has one major theme that I think it leeches throughout the entirety of the series, is that your actions are what makes you evil. All 3 main characters in this book have a hugely powerful gift, something beyond normal abilities, but only one of them went beyond the point of no return. Why? It's simple. Amos Magic doesn't make you turn evil. It's your choices that make you evil. As I've heard said, absolute power corrupts absolutely. The book touches a lot on the corruption of the soul, but yet, when Darkstalker, on page 140, puts all of his magic into a scroll so that he can use a scroll without it affecting his soul, he only seems to get worse. All of his darker spells happen beyond this point in the book. From enchanting a soulmate without her permission on page 311, which I have a quote right here for. "Oh," Darkstalker said, flipping his tail dismissively, "that was just a little spell. I wanted to keep you focused on the happy futures." To one of his worst spells, and why I think this book has a higher rating than most of Wings of Fire books. Him enchanting his father to gut himself on page 333. The quote here now. Now, Darkstalker leaned towards Arctic, his claws going to the wood of the stage. "Take your talons and rip open your stomach. Show us all what you're like on the inside. Pour your life out on the stage." If magic corrupted his soul, how did he get this far? Because he let it get this far. It was his choices that led him here. He gave into those darker urges, accepted his power completely, and used it in an attempt to control everything, to lead himself to a future he wanted without regard for anyone else. Putting his power in a scroll that likely wasn't a way to spare his soul, but as a way to comfort Clearsight, to gain her trust so he can get away with more. Keep pushing. Along with that, he believes what he's doing is right and justified. We see throughout his perspective, he focuses on the future, the ending to his actions. This leads him to feeling like his actions are worth it, that everything he does is okay because it'll all be fine eventually in the future. Meanwhile, Clearsight feels extremely different. She believes that what he's doing will change the future in negative ways. She focuses on the negative futures continually throughout the series because everything Darkstalker is doing makes those futures so much more likely, because his actions are tainting the future. Along with that, with Fathom's perspective, we get to see a view of someone who cannot see the future. Someone who can only see what is happening in the moment. How his actions immediately hurt people. Darkstalker's actions, of course. We get a perspective of someone who only knows him for who he is now. With Clearsight, we get to see the perspective of someone who knows what he might do, and Darkstalker views himself in almost an entirely positive light despite his actions. Fathom offers an outside view of him, from someone who doesn't know his past nor his future. Likely what most other people see when they look at him. That outside view without the biases both Clearsight and Darkstalker have on themselves and each other. Now, one of the main motifs we see in Darkstalker's legends is good and evil, mainly in how it's not super clear, specifically with the colors white and black. You see this within the Icewing Nightwing war, how both sides have their reason to be in this war, but neither themselves are evil or good. But also, in an hourglass Darkstalker made to read people's souls, quotation marks, using white and black stands, with black being good and white being bad, reverse the common tropes within those colors. It takes place on page 225. It makes sense black and white will appear throughout the book, with one of the overarching conflicts of the book being the war between the Icewings and the Nightwings. This good versus evil motif makes sense with the theme of your actions are what makes you evil, since being good and being bad and how one becomes that way is a major part of this book, how one chooses to be evil through their own choices, and how you choose whether or not to take that route, with how Fathom chooses to stay on the brighter path while Darkstalker chooses to take a darker route, to reach a goal, a future that he deems as perfect. Now, onto how this book affected me personally. This is a part I have to add since this video is also part of my culminating for English class, so if you're just watching this from YouTube, I'm sorry if this part doesn't make sense or isn't super interesting to you. Now, personally, what I learned from this book is that not only what you become is a result of what you choose to do, but also you likely won't see yourself as evil when you do become that way. Nobody views himself as evil, even if they are. This is something we see with Darkstalker, how he justified everything he did as worth it and didn't view himself as the villain. I was personally affected by it as it reminded me of a lot of people I met, people who do evil things without realizing how they do is hurting others. So many evil people who can never believe that they're hurting anyone at all. Many people have their own Darkstalkers in their life, even if it's not to the same extreme as, Darkstalker within this book. After reading this, I've seen people a bit more clearly within my day-to-day life. In all, this book is about how your actions make you evil, not some force outside of your control. You choose to do those bad things, and that in itself makes you evil. Quotation marks. The book shows a good representation of this Darkstalker. He uses his perspective of his lover and his friend to show what he's doing from the viewpoint of someone who knows how he hurts people in the future, and someone who sees how he's hurting people now. You see why he does, and what he does, and how he justifies it too. That's all for today. Thank you for watching, and I do plan to post more analyses and stuff that'll probably be a bit better since this is my first real video essay. I do plan to post more like this in the future, so if you love video essays, you love people talking about fandom, that stuff's interesting to you, then please like and subscribe. And that's all for today. So I hope to see you again soon. Bye!